So when he's
Anyways,
done choking on his own aspirations,
what happened last
I
time?
don't have any aspirations. Don't lie.
when you aspirate, it's when you breathe in things you're not supposed to breathe.
Like
So
alcohol, it'll get you
considering you were
instantly
choking,
drunk, and
you
it's the
do.
worst thing possible to do.
Mm,
Uh,
I
nothing
know
like
worse than
I
getting
actually
long
did
drunk.
accidentally snorted while she was drinking something, and she aspirated a little bit of it.
hmm
And literally, it
I think
takes
the term is spit
less
take.
than an ounce, and you're done for the night.
Yep. So what happened last time? I'm just gonna read off of our notes here because they're actually fairly short this time. Uh, let's see. After a night of studying, her recently copied page of scripture, and a new book from Darian, Liberty finds a spell that purifies herself and Rin from the infected bites because we both were diseased by the death dogs. Um, our favorite half-orc criminal himbo, Slim Shady, I mean Yerk, stops by with a new job for the gang. Keeper Najim requests the party travel to the nearby town of Prisma and retrieve the shell of a flailed snail. Oh, consonants are going to be the death of me tonight, apparently. Um, Darian purchases a passing grade great axe for Zephyr, who had a mildly concerning level of excitement over the weapon. Despite his fatherly apprehensions, Darian still decides to bring. I was drunk when I wrote this. Darian still decided to bring Zephyr along for the fetch quest. Uh, am I saying that name correctly, Kelso? Because we had a discussion about names, and I.
The names are Zephyr, Rain, and Darian.
Darian. Right.
Or
Yes.
Darian.
Okay. Got
But
it.
not Darian.
19 days, I had a dream. Darian still decided to bring Zephyr along for the fetch quest. The crew decides to go after the snails, slash, we find out there are multiple snails. At night, when there are no townsfolk around and the snails are more likely to leave the safety of the tunnel, lack of planning and communication bring tensions between Darian and Ridden to a head and lead to a rushed combat in which Darian is knocked unconscious by his own ricocheted spell. After Rin and Zephyr drag Darian to safety outside the snail tunnels, Liberty is able to revive him, and the party begins preparing a stealth trap to better take down their intended prey.
Does anyone have
Yeah.
anything to add? No.
He's an asshole.
In that case,
Unfortunately, he's a competent asshole.
the worst of all.
That is the tagline. That is the best summary of Rin's character right there.
You guys sit at the base of the tall cliffs. Above you, you know the town of Prisma sits somewhere on the edge. The slowly lapping water of the large lake makes the slightest of noises down the pebbly beach from you. Rin leans on the wall, tail flicking in irritation back and forth as he watches both Liberty and Darian as Darian looks up into the sky, and the stars, which are gorgeous tonight, seem to slightly spin with the lightheadedness that he's feeling at the moment. What would you all like to do?
Darian is still laying on his back in the sand, catching his breath, for sure. Weighing his options.
Let's see. Liberty has pulled out her two salt blocks and handed them to Rin so that he can prepare the trap.
Rin's chilling.
How long are you guys going to just kind of sit around before doing anything?
Rin will probably, he's already been given the bag of salt, so he's probably going to sit there and like sort of plot things out for a sec before moving off and starting to lay everything down.
Okay.
So, do you have a plan for how to lure this creature out?
This is me trying to remember how, trying to think back to last session, the details on them. They did.
I can give you a brief rundown. You guys just made it out of the tunnels. There's probably about 50 to 60 walking feet of tunnel to get through to get to the opening where the flail snails were. But it twists and turns so much that it's probably only like maybe 40 feet into the cliffside.
The flail snails use tremor sense, right?
From
that's
what you
figured out.
gathered last time, they seem to do so, yeah.
Okay. Then, okay. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do then. You asked Rin if he had a plan. Beat on the ground like a drum.
All right. And did you have any expectations for what the rest of us will be doing, or are we just beating on the ground while you wait to stab it when it comes out?
Seems fine with me. Unless, of course, you'd like to shoot them with lightning.
Darian, still laying in the sand, holds up the middle finger and then drops his hand again. Doesn't say a word. The slightest groan when his arm is put back down.
I will say, point of order, Darian, tonight when you end up getting ready to actually go to sleep and mess with your robes, you're going to find that you have a wicked scar from one fingertip all the way through your chest.
I was going to ask about that if you had Lichtenberg figures.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Dang.
Don't worry, ladies love lightning scars. It's great.
So does Thor.
Pretty cool looking, but it hurts.
Yeah, fair enough. It did kill me.
Knocked you unconscious.
You were only mostly
dead.
dead.
I was making death saves.
Yes, and then I stabilized you. I am a benevolent DM, even though I laugh at you when you one-shot yourself.
It made
me laugh.
It did. Still does.
Best line. Best line.
Hey,
Early flashback.
Jacob, is your wife playing Divinity right now?
Maybe.
A little icon just popped up saying
Yeah.
your username.
She and her cousin are playing Divinity.
Gotcha.
As long as you don't play Minecraft.
I love Minecraft. What's wrong with Minecraft, Kelso?
Guys,
Nothing wrong with
You don't get that
Minecraft
line,
as long
but
as
I know
you're
Jesse
playing
does.
well, I get the
as long
line,
as you
but
don't
also
play it
you
while
should
you're
join my
playing
server.
D&D.
I would totally join your server. But I don't have it on the PC because
lame.
I was a fool. So, Rin, what are you doing?
I'm slipping into about the halfway point.
Okay. Go ahead and make a generalized stealth check for how light you are on your feet at the moment.
Stay. 21.
Good to know.
I'm gonna lay the salt in sort of like a serpentine pattern, so that each wave hits one of the walls,
Okay.
and slowly move backwards until I'm out of salt.
You probably have enough salt. How much gold did you drop on this?
I think we ended up having like 2 bags of salt, is what the.
I think I can even tell you exactly how much salt we have here. Unless I already Yeah, well, let's see. Let's try this. Because I think it was 2 1-pound blocks.
So all in all, you're probably getting a decent trail for about 10 feet of the cave.
That's workable.
On the wrong page.
Judging by the size of these creatures, you're having to actually like put a hefty trail down.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like that smile.
I'm laughing at my wife who's
Okay.
making noises out there.
Sorry, 3 pounds. 3 pounds of salt.
3 pounds. Okay. So yeah,
So
probably like
15
10,
feet?
12.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then with the very last amount of it, I would assume that since we have weapons, we also have the means to like take care of our weapons. Yes.
For the most part, you have the basic necessities.
Yeah,
A
so like a
cheap oil, cheap
whetstone,
rag,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
cheap whetstone, yeah.
I'm going to take some of the oil and coat the blade with it, and then dip the blade into one of the salt, into some of the salt, so that the salt clings to the blade.
A blade as salty as Darian's attitude.
Got a salty rapier.
I don't know what you have to say, but why don't you just
We're
say
not
it?
talking about salt.
Did.
Repeat.
Touche.
Granted, I could have said that it was salty as Rin's attitude as well, and it would have been pretty much the exact same joke.
Exactly.
Just a little bit.
Listen, I can't deny it. I'm an
Liberty's
ocean boy.
salty at both of them.
But he's talking more right
He's
now,
gone
so
up
I
beside you.
needed to say it so that you would have something to talk about.
There we go.
So you've coated some of your blade with some salt.
Yep.
Good to know. Liberty and Darian, what are you guys doing outside the cave while he's doing this?
That's a good question.
Reflecting.
A wise choice.
Reflecting on all of his
truly.
life choices.
How? Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
No, we would need to rewind the tape a little bit. So it's the point where the bolt has
No.
been
Here,
reflected,
I wasn't
and there's-
finished.
The bolt has been reflected, and it's like an inch from his hand, and it's just a look of shock and horror on his face that we pause it.
Yes, that is me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
No,
You sounded too much like
as far as double dipping
in.
into the memes, I would say that it would be Darian on the ground, post vomiting after the conversation with Liberty, with the "you're probably wondering how I got here," and then it would cut immediately to, as Kel was saying, the scene where I'm about to get hit with my own lightning, and it's instantly cut to the like the JoJo's to be continued outro.
Anyways, so Darian, you're laying on the ground.
Yeah, I'm probably sitting up at this point a bit more, probably
I'll say
fidgeting or fumbling with something.
Zephyr has come over to you and is kind of like brushing off the back of your shoulders and pulls up your sleeve and shows you a few scorch holes that have completely tarnished the rim of your sleeve. That was a lot closer record than I was expecting.
That would make two of us. I happen to like this jacket. Help your father up. And I reach out my arm.
He goes to grab it and then adjusts his hair as he steps away.
Oh, he's the worst.
No, Rin would definitely slap him across the fucking face if he did that. That's just classless. Fucking
He's
greaser.
not your
It's a
son.
fear.
I mean, as far as we know, he's not your son.
Damn greaser.
Darian's sitting there a little bit confounded, not sure how to respond to that.
It's like, what just happened?
He'll turn back and seeing that you're not entirely, you didn't at all get the joke, he'll help you up. Fine, you old man.
Seeing the discussion about the tears in the jacket, Liberty will stuff. I can repair that while we wait for the trap to be ready.
Oh, I was joking, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
And start casting mending
Okay.
on the holes.
Are we
So,
supposed to start beating on the ground now, or?
Apparently,
I-
we should wait until Rin decides the moment is right.
At that
because
moment, you hear a very
hopefully-
sharp whistle.
I think that is the signal. But maybe we should wait because we don't want to do anything until he has explicitly stated it. Because far be it from us to assume that we know what is going on when the mastermind is at work.
Hold on, do I have something that I can use?
Darian is forcibly trying to conceal a very
I do.
a
Excellent.
very muffled snicker at just the level of backhanded sarcasm that she's dealing right now.
Excellent. How far away can I do this? 60 feet?
500 feet. If.
Okay, I cast Silent Image and Prestidigitation at the same time.
Well, first off, both of those are actions.
No,
I'm not
you
in
don't.
combat. Well, I cast one right after the other.
Okay.
And I use the sound quality of... Actually, no, I don't even cast Prestidigitation. I'm not sure I can manage to make that work. I just make the Silent Image do a thumbs up and in the general direction that Darian was sitting in, lift up his middle finger.
Okay.
Is it just a silent image of yourself?
Yep.
Classic.
Well,
Although good on
at
him for
that
remembering the
response,
layout
you
of the out here.
at the word classy, you're going to get a withering stare from Liberty. Yes, certain gestures are perhaps a bit uncouth. And major eye roll before she starts walking toward the cave.
Okay. You make it to the cave entrance.
What?
So, are the other two following me?
Darian finished dusting himself off and follows suit.
Zephyr will follow as well.
All right. So
I have moved further into the cavern so that when they'll have to go past me to get into the hall,
Okay.
so that I can basically just stab them over and over in the back because they won't be able to turn around.
Go ahead and make. So, here's the thing. The tunnels are barely big enough for the snails to get through. From what you've seen of their size, they
Yeah.
probably almost cover it wall to wall. You're going to have to find like a little alcove or something.
Oh,
and
I did a poor job of describing what I'm doing. I'm going
Okay.
all the way into that cave that they live in,
oh,
and
Okay.
and standing to one side of the hallway door.
okay. Go ahead and make another stealth check then.
That is a 24.
Okay. Good to know. You make it into that section, and from your position, you're actually able to see into the cavern where you met with them before. They are pretty close together, not sleeping this time, One of them is very evidently missing two of its tentacles, and there's a goopy, viscous liquid that's pouring from the stumps where the stalks used to be. And the other one appears to be not necessarily tending to it, but observing it.
Mm-hmm.
But neither turn towards you. You seem to be going unnoticed at the moment. And for those of you outside,
I'm gonna start stomping on the ground. I guess kind of banging my shield against the side of the cave a bit.
okay.
Just trying to cause as many vibrations in the ground as possible.
For you, Darian.
Reading a spell, but yeah, the same thing.
Okay.
Prestidigitation doesn't have anything to do with sound, does it?
Prestidigitation
sound.
can make like little chimes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like small sounds.
Yeah. You couldn't mimic a voice, you couldn't do anything like that. This is more just those classic magic sounds you could make happen.
Okay.
Zephyr will also join you guys in doing that. I would like Darian and Liberty to make performance checks for this. Or animal handling, your choice.
Performance
take-
or animal handling.
Mhm.
Alright.
I'll take performance.
It is the same. Du- du- du.
Modified 19.
Okay.
Clearly, Darian's not very much in the mood of team building exercises because at a natural 1, he's rolled a 4.
Oh.
Rough. Rin, from your position in the cave, you can hear a commotion of metal striking stone and stuff of this sort from behind you in the cave towards the entrance. The snail that is not missing tentacles does move in that direction a little bit, feeling around with its flails on the ground for a few minutes before stopping before exiting the room.
Okay. Is there like a rock or something near me?
I'd say there are probably quite a few small stones, yeah.
Okay. I huck a stone into the hallway.
Behind you, towards the entrance?
Yeah. Yeah. In front of the snail to like lead him into the hallway.
Okay. Go ahead and make an animal handling check yourself.
It's a nat 20, so 22. I understand slugs or snails.
Apparently.
Snails just make sense, bro.
It takes one to know one.
Pretty sure that one doesn't apply in this scenario. I like where you're going, but I don't think it applies.
It
He's
like,
not
Metaphorically,
slow.
it does.
like one to the
Metaphorically.
left and you'll have something.
Slime recognizes slime might be a better
There
way to
you
go
go.
about it.
There, that's good.
Um,
It's not slime. It's mucus.
You're not a frog.
You toss a stone back towards it, back towards the entrance of the cave. You hear it click and clack a few times against the stone walls before settling in the sandy earth. And the snail immediately moves past you and starts heading that direction. The one that is missing tentacles is not moving, however.
Okay. And the one that's going after the rock is continuing to move once it gets to the rock towards the vibrations coming from further down.
It is just about to get to the rock right now. Are you waiting to see if it does?
I'm gonna wait.
Okay. It makes it to the rock, does a little bit of an inspection of everything around and continues forward.
Excellent.
Meanwhile,
I'm gonna wait a little more for him to get to get out of range, I guess. I would say eye shot, but that's not applicable.
of the other snail.
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of follow it for a little while as it begins to weave its way through the cave.
I'm staying in the room. I want to make sure that he's out of view.
Okay. It very quickly turns a corner and is out of sight.
As soon as he does, I sort of step forward and I pick up another rock and throw it on the ground, like right in front of the damaged snail.
Okay. It will cower into its shell.
Okay. Having seen that, I am no longer going to bother with it and pursue the other one down the hallway.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the outside, you guys have been making quite a racket. It's been about 20-ish seconds before Dardian. Oh, wait, hold on.
By the way, I do want to point out something. I did some research, actually. I'm pretty sure snails can't go backwards.
I wouldn't imagine.
Because their pseudopod is designed to move exactly one way.
That would make sense if it was a smaller creature. I have a feeling that the evolutionary process for a snail that is the size
DM,
of a horse...
Listen, I get it, DM. You're saying it can go backwards and forwards.
It can go backwards and forwards. It's a snail the size of a horse. It can do what it wants.
It just has to kind of shift gears the way a car would when it stopped. It has to like stop and then like take a second and then reverse.
Yeah, it's not fast.
Sometimes the gears grind.
But yeah, on the outside, Darian and Liberty, you guys are making quite a bit of racket. It's been about 20 seconds before both of you, because you had the same passive perception, hear footprints in the stony beach behind you.
Oh, shit.
You hear a voice, not shouting, but loud and authoritative. And what do you think you are doing?
Darian does a little bit like and then like ducks into the cave a little bit or like around the edge and starts putting like his hood up and shit. Covering his face and head as much as he can.
What is the fear doing?
He has spun on his heel and is holding his axe at the ready that he's been using to like pound the ground with.
Ooh, child. As Darian rushes past her into the cave, Liberty just hisses a quick whisper, "You are not leaving me alone to deal with this!"
I'm not leaving anyone.
Turning around Liberty, you see 3 figures. One, an elderly man who you recognize from the bar upstairs, and 2 dwarven individuals, both of which are not dressed in traditional Ohari attire, but instead are dressed in a more rich style from a different continent.
When Liberty turns around, the scarf is definitely coming up over her face. I'm sorry, and you are? Sorry, the DM's giving me the look of you asked for names again. I always ask for names.
I was going to say.
What I do.
You've created the Windows error noise as the DM frantically searches for a name.
Well, I saw his head rolling back and forth. It's like, okay, I know he's not frozen.
I don't have the old man's name, so I don't know if he gave it to us last
He
time.
didn't
So.
give you a name.
Okay.
Even if he
So.
did, Rin made it very clear that he had no desire to talk to him ever again, so he would not have cared to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
This is fact.
Mm-hmm.
Very little paraphrasing involved in that sentence.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like something you would say.
Forgive my informality. But you seem to be disturbing my stock.
You have to stealth the dirt.
How-
Are you still hiding in the cave, Darian?
I'm not hiding in the cave. I'm just out of line of sight while I was fidgeting with that. Considering that you just pulled up your scarf and I'm messing with a full head shawl, it's probably going to take me a couple seconds longer than you. Darian hisses under his breath. How many?
DM, remind me,
Just
how many
3.
am I looking at?
2 dwarves and the old guy.
Okay.
So, do all 3 of you own the the snails out here, or do those 2 work for you, sir?
I don't appreciate my questions being answered with questions.
Oh,
Please step away from the pen. You too, sir.
Darian has stepped out a little bit. He's like, forgive us. We got a little lost. I don't see any fences.
As she's stepping, Liberty's
Now that
going
I
to
think
start
about
to
it, that's a
comply.
shitty lie because they clearly heard us. So
Yes.
no, but you don't. I like the line because you don't see any fences,
It's technically true.
which implies that there's a lack of ownership on this particular little spot.
It's not really marked. But stepping away
plus
from
6
the
to
cave,
wisdom, plus 3 to charisma. Wait, those are my
Liberty
saves.
hisses over to Zephyr. Put the weapon down. We don't need to fight the locals.
Make a persuasion check.
He's not immune to. Oh, wait, no. Let me double check how that feature works. I think it might only be
charmed.
You do have advantage due to your background, yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was just inside or not. But that's a 5 because I rolled 2 2s in a row.
He just kind of snarls. Are you stepping away from the cave entrance as requested?
I am, yeah.
I'm standing behind her, so well, more to her side, I would assume.
Zephyr will move with his father figure. Thank you. Now, may I ask what your business is here in Prisma?
Fucking hate him.
Then get out here and take care of him for us.
I can't. I'm behind the snail.
He's stuck. He's stuck.
He's
behind
stuck
the
in
snail.
traffic.
If I wasn't behind the
Freaking
snail,
out in
I'd be out
traffic.
here already.
Actually, that is a good point. Forge, I need you to roll 3d6 for me.
Oh, I love that.
What's
that
happening?
really fills me with
Concern.
confidence and delight there, DM. Ooh, this is a real feel-good moment.
Concern.
Oh boy, DM, you really know how to make a guy feel special.
Are you taking acid damage from the snail trail?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's finally melted through his shoes.
13.
Okay.
May I ask why?
You can ask.
Liberty
See, why
and
didn't you say
Darian.
that to the other guy?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
From
He said our
outside
names.
the cave, you hear a bellow. Or from inside the cave, you hear a bellow.
Oh boy.
As the snail reaches the salt trail.
Oh good, never mind.
From where you're at, Rin, it is pretty deafening, actually.
Oh, are you kidding me? Did I just take 13 sound damage?
No, the creature took 3d6 damage.
Okay, thank God.
We're bouncing back and forth dangerously right now.
The dwarf's eyes go wide immediately. And he shoots his head towards the old man and says, I thought you said there were only 3 of them. I didn't know if there were 3 or if there were 4. I can't see so well these days. It's not my fault.
That makes this just a little bit better.
At the bellow, Darian looks back down into the cave with wider eyes, and is mentally thinking, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to think of another lie."
The dwarf.
How hardy do these gentlemen look, DM?
Well, they're dwarves.
I was going to say dwarves just look
on a scale of 1 to Tom. How hardy are they?
On a scale of 5 to 40.
Like Tom Hardy cut off at the knees.
So pretty fucking substantial.
All of which is more reinforced with both dwarves pulling large crossbows from their back and leveling them towards your group. How many people are in the cave?
I'm debating about saying like 7 or something stupid.
Well, see, it's not that hard to block off the cave entrance, so that wouldn't actually necessarily threatening them probably won't help.
It could, but it could cause them to wait for other people to show up, and at most 1 person comes out.
I won't complain.
DM, how did he phrase the question?
How many more people are in the cave?
I think we only saw a sign of 2 snails in there.
Get down on your knees and put your hands behind your backs and drop your weapons, please.
I'm going to look at Liberty for a yes or no here.
Liberty.
Let me.
Is
I'm.
a cat.
Darian's going to look at Whispery and whispered in the hushed tone. How badly do we need to finish this job? Any means?
Tut, tut, tut. No talking. On your knees, please.
How can he hear me from over there? I have a mask over my face.
You turned your head to talk to Liberty.
Fair enough. I'm allowed to ask.
Liberty, without looking at Darian, very slowly and slightly stiffly sets down her shield, and I think her only visible weapon is the scythe. Right? What do I have here? Not scythe, sickle. So she puts down her shield and sickle and just very softly under her breath whispers, "If any of them touch me."
I can't hear her.
We can't hear you.
Sorry. She just whispers very softly under her breath, "If any of them touch me, there will be blood."
Darian's slowly bending over to put his quarterstaff down, since that's the only thing that's really on him. Oh fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. There could be bloodshed now. It's like, I can't think of how to phrase it. Essentially, Darian's asking, it's like, do you want me to engage in combat because I can deal with this?
And again, like disguising her words with the scarf in front of her face, but I'd prefer not to leave bodies. They're not completely unjustified in their complaint.
You're pretty justified.
Darian disguises as the groan as more of standing back up than being agitated. um, as Darian erects himself again, it's a standard word. Don't look at me like that.
Wait, what?
He made a face.
No, I made a face because you're
Waiting to
standing after
Oh.
being told to kneel
Oh, that is true.
with crossbows leveled at you.
This is true.
Are you still standing?
Darian places the quarterstaff and continues the hushed conversation as it was, and is slowly lowering himself onto his knees. God, can I phone a friend for phrasing because I need help?
What
Go
are
ahead
you
and think
trying to
about
say?
it while I ask Rin. Rin, what are you doing at the moment? So the creature hit Salt Trail, let out a loud groan, but as you watched, it appeared to secrete more of its viscous mucus, and traveled over the rest of it, not being damaged by it.
And
It's
no one
about
out there is no one out there is telepathic, huh?
no, but you have, after the end of the roar, you have heard that the people outside stopped making noise.
Okay.
Whether or not that's because Darian's lazy or something went wrong, you're not sure.
Yeah, no, I've got a low opinion of Darian, but I don't think it's to the point that he would not do his job. So I suspect something's going on, but there's literally nothing I can do without the snail in the way. So Rin's thinking is his best bet is to actually do the job that he was supposed to, because that'll distract whoever was out there with the noise. So he is going to continue to slip forward and then stab it in the back.
Okay. First make a stealth check as you're following it, and it apparently has tremor sense.
Come here, Rin dice. 25.
Okay. And go ahead and make an attack roll with advantage as you are hidden.
I love advantage attack rolls. How did you know? Let's see. There we go.
Oh, and while you're doing that, I will say that when the snail hit the salt, it contracted, and in its pain, one of the tentacles actually burst and is barely hanging on by a few
Oh,
sinews.
interesting. I rolled an 18 and 11, so 18 to hit.
An 18 does hit.
Marvelous. So, first things first.
This does have sneak attack, in case you were wondering.
7 plus 8 is 13. 14. 15. And then add 3. 18 damage total, 3 of which being fire damage. And then whatever the salt does.
3 of which is fire? Okay. The fire does nothing.
Okay, and then whatever the salt on the blade did.
Unfortunately, since it has already taken salt damage, it does not take any more.
Gotcha.
So 18 minus 3 is 15.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they were fireproof.
But another one of the tentacles bursts in its pain and agony as it continues moving forward.
And it's got 5 of those, right?
Now it has 3.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay.
This also means that this battle map I made is useless.
Useless!
Go
Again,
ahead.
you have ruined my efforts.
You said the dwarves are wearing fancy clothes. Are they wearing any like metallic armor?
There are like brass buttons and clasps on it, but for the most part, no, they are not wearing metal armor.
Okay.
At least not visibly.
Mm-hmm.
And being from a port city, you would recognize Vinzoli make in clothing.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
seeing it on a dwarf, it's pretty like
Yep.
putting two and two together.
Darian's response would have been, "Gentlemen, let's not do anything rash," as he started to kneel.
Okay. What is rash is attacking a stock, which you have done. So we are well past that point. And that's when you hear the second cry from the snail as Rin stabs it from the cave.
I'm distracting as hell, baby.
I know that is what that looks like. I can swear to you that none of us here have done anything to your stock.
You seem
Liar.
We are not responsible for the tiefling in the cave.
He hasn't done anything to the stock.
He said none of us here though, and technically Liberty has.
Did
damage.
you? Your
Oh yeah, anytime
right.
they had to make a saving throw, it didn't work. But my spiritual weapon was doing great. Then I had to drop it.
I was unconscious. I would not have seen that.
True.
Checkmate.
No, that
True.
happened before you went unconscious.
Anyways. He doesn't believe you
But
either way, so I'm not letting you roll.
For someone who is so concerned with the well-being of his stock, you don't seem particularly interested in checking on them when they're clearly in pain.
The thief is questioning my practices. Wonderful. That's exactly what I needed tonight.
Oh, you'll find I'm full of many infuriating questions.
It is about this time.
Excuse me, I'm playing Rin.
You do not have a monopoly on annoying and clever, sir.
You're right, but I do have a monopoly on infuriating questions, apparently.
Yeah, you do.
Rin?
It's an oligarchy we share.
Rin? The flail snail is looking hurt. And it is just about to break the cave entrance. Are you letting it out so that you and your group can all take it down, or are you trying to kill it before it gets out of the cave?
I'm gonna do more. I'm gonna do one more attack. Because I'm assuming that's all I have time for before it gets out. I'm not trying to kill it. I'm just trying to do as much damage as possible because I don't realistically think that I could kill it.
Fair enough.
Before it gets out.
Go ahead and make your attack.
Sure moving forward.
You do not have advantage, and this is not sneak attack.
Yep.
He is mercilessly stabbing like a rabid animal.
Nipping at its heels like a herd dog.
Yes.
20.
But he's going for
20 does hit.
DM, while
12.
this is happening, I'll let him finish. Sounded like there were 2 attacks there. Is that right, or is that damage?
No, 12 damage.
Okay. The man who is threatening us, based on his demeanor and his expressions, does he seem like he's just a businessman protecting his interests and annoyed at finding a thief in the night? Or does he seem like someone who's just the low morals, terrible person?
Roll an insight check.
Okay.
And I do have a fast question.
Yeah.
Would it be possible for me to cast a spell real quick?
Unfortunately, you would have had to have given up that second attack to cast a spell.
Gotcha. I'm not going to ask
Ooh.
what her stats are because I don't want to meta, but I would also like to roll for that insight check.
No, that's fair. Go ahead and roll the insight.
Thank God I have a +6. 16.
Okay.
Basically my passive, which kind of makes more sense.
So
24?
16 and jeez.
Dang. Yeah,
lol.
she's fine.
She's basically
And
getting
that's
the spread of this guy's life story.
So Darian, looking him over, at the moment he's got a crossbow leveled at you. It doesn't matter who he is. You're already down past half hit, or pretty low on hit points. You're not down past half, but you're pretty low on hit points. Kind of doesn't matter at this point. Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
There is there's a smugness and a twitch in the cheek whenever he talks.
I'm wondering
He's-
about someone who's, talking about, like,
He doesn't live here.
yeah, I had a feeling because the information we'd gathered made the snail sound more like just a natural resource that the town takes advantage. Him being possessive of it, it's. Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he believes he owns them, different question. He doesn't live here though. This isn't
Yeah.
his stock.
I just
Yeah.
I just want to say that I really appreciate the actual insight that she had into that. That was pretty clever, if I must say. Which also makes me feel a little bit better about making the fence remark.
Yeah. Bro's in God's house right now. He's got no room to talk here.
But as you read that through your mind, it's
Mhm.
about that time that you see movement off to your left towards where the cave is, and the snail's massive form begins to break cover from the cave, tentacles writhing in pain, and the dwarf in the front looks to the two behind him and shouts, "Protect the snail at all cost!" And they turn their crossbows towards those who are coming out of the cave. I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Yay!
Ooh. You get spicy
Okay,
tonight.
roll above a 10. A 9. All right, that's fine. That's my second roll subtracted my first roll.
Advantage on initiative rolls. I forgot I could do that.
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
have advantage on initiative rolls.
My magic weapon that I chose was a rapier of warning.
So
That's
True.
really cool.
that's what I'm trying to
That's
remember is whether I remembered before the first initiative or if I just decided to do it after our initiative last time, because the Liberty's been pretty consistently like giving Darian vigilant blessing. Which
For now,
But-
since we can't remember,
yeah,
nothing.
so
Oh, you're fine.
not this time, Kelso.
25 to
Oh, that's
20.
23.
Jeez. Dexy boy.
Yes.
20 to 15.
No.
15 to 10.
12.
Wait, did you say 12, Liberty?
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh, I should roll for the bird.